Prey 2017, or as I will be calling Prey for the rest of this video, is an amazing game in of its own right. It's also an even greater immersive sim, checking off the boxes of what I consider the common traits of immersive sims to be. I've always struggled defining the genre, but after playing and then replaying Prey, it gives me a pretty good idea on what makes an immersive sim. I'm going to lay out all the traits of immersive sims and use examples from Prey to demonstrate them. You may think other games get these traits better than Prey, but I think Prey is so well-rounded in all these traits, making it feel more balanced than other immersive sims. I want to talk about stealth in Prey because at first I thought I had no place in the game. On my first playthrough, I didn't really hide all that often and came to the conclusion that it wasn't fun hiding from the aliens, and it's better to hide from actual human enemies in a game like Dishonored. But it didn't take me long to realize what makes Prey stealth special. It's the fact that your enemies are excellent at hiding as well. You could be surrounded by a handful of mimics and not even know it. In most immersive sims I've played, enemies are always on the lookout for you, taunting you as they search around the room. But in Prey, it can be the opposite. You'll get a glimpse of a mimic running around, and then you go around swinging your wrench at every item or scanning the room to find them, only later on to find out you can get the exact same power as the mimics for yourself. Using that power isn't just good for hiding though, it can be used to slip away into small openings. Stealth in Prey engages you because you, or your enemies, can be hiding in plain sight, opposed to under a table or a chandelier. And to me, that's the most unique stealth system I've seen in an immersive sim. It challenges your perception in more ways than one. How can you hide from something that's already hidden from you? I wouldn't define Prey as a stealth game, and I wouldn't play a stealth run of this game either, but I think there's something to be admired about Prey's stealth system, even more so than other games. Prey's combat is some of the most engaging I've seen in an immersive sim. To me, that's because it isn't heavily tied to its stealth. Sure, you can still sneak around and sneak attack enemies, but it isn't something that's stressed to do. Picking off targets one by one isn't emphasized. Maybe you can do it, but it's not something I picked up on. But much like other immersive sims, it's best to combine your weapons with your abilities. For a game some might consider to be slow-paced, the combat is pretty exhilarating. Zipping around, changing weapons, changing abilities, all while your enemies each have unique ways of being taken down. Again, like stealth, it's the enemies of Prey that make the combat interesting. Your enemies, for the most part, all have different variations that require specific ways to take them down. Sure, you can shoot them dead, but that'll chew up ammo. What's important is that you learn specific ways to take the Typhon down, and the way you do that is through scanning them. Similar to the camera in BioShock, but way more useful, scanning enemies doesn't just give you ways to take them down, but it rewards you by unlocking their abilities, letting you activate them via neuromods. It intertwines mechanics, something Prey is excellent at doing. The weapons feel good and shoot good. Enemies have forgiving hitboxes because Prey doesn't want you to focus on hitting your bullets all the time, and wants you to focus on weaknesses of your enemies and exploit them. And while that may be a mechanic we've seen before in other games, it doesn't mean it's a bad mechanic. It's executed perfectly and gives it a leg up on other games. You may think that some of the standard weapons of Prey seem boring, but beyond the pistol and shotgun lie more interesting weapons, like the throwables. Recycle grenades, when thrown, break down objects nearby into materials that you can then recycle into ammo, neuromods, and other useful items. Typhon lures will attract the enemies. EMP grenades disable electronics, turrets, or mechanical enemies. But the weapon that truly stands out is the glue cannon. It can slow down enemies, and if you fire enough glue, it can temporarily freeze them in place. The way you fight enemies always has potential to shift, and that's what I like most about Prey's combat. To me, intricacy is one of the most important parts of an immersive sim. In my opinion, out of any immersive sim, Prey does intricacy the best. Like any immersive sim, Prey has multiple ways to traverse, multiple ways to do a task. As I said, combat and stealth aren't heavily tied to each other, but they are two different options for you to choose from. It has common immersive sim options: hack open a door or find an alternate pathway, but you might not be able to hack a door open if your hacking skill isn't up enough. That's the importance of the upgrade system in Prey, and the upgrade system ties everything together. In order for you to use the skills I talked about in stealth or combat, you have to unlock them with upgrades. And the interesting part is that some of those upgrades are locked behind scanning the Typhon. In order for you to gain powers, you have to use stealth to hide from enemies, scan them, and then you can get combat or stealth abilities. And that's just one way things tie together. The setting of Prey, Talos 1, has so much to offer it almost feels like a character itself. Dozens of little things lying around to find and incorporate into your gameplay. This leads to you finding loot often, like ammo and neuromods. You can find notes or books lying around, health items or food, but also junk that you can recycle through a machine, then take the material and craft into useful items. One of my favorite things to find on Talos 1 are operators. You can find outposts that spawn them. Medical ones will heal you, engineers will fix your damage to your suit, and scientific ones will restore your psi meter. Psi being the thing you need to use your abilities. Think of it as mana. You can find heavy objects or gas canisters to throw at enemies. But again, the real star of the show is the glue cannon. It's not just a weapon I said it was in the combat section. It's also a tool. It can be used to scale up walls as an alternative pathway, and literally making your alternate pathway something I've yet to see in any other immersive sim. The glue cannon can be used to plug up fires or temporarily cover electrical outbursts and radiation pockets. It can slow down things like fans so you can get between the blades. In this footage, you can see some of what I just said coming together. I shoot this phantom some, then use a kinetic ability I got from scanning Typhon, then slow him down with glue so it's easier to blow him up with these canisters. Intricacies lead to a lot of aha moments when you figure them out. And you can generally be thrown for a loop. Because of the intricacies of Talos 1, it leads to another important aspect of immersive sims, non-linear gameplay. Talos 1 is as open as can be. You can explore at your leisure. You can go to spots in the game that you aren't even close to story-wise. This leads to good backtracking. You exit the space station itself and explore the exterior of it. Things are always different and things are always changing. It's the definition of emergent gameplay. But you're not the only one who adapts and reacts to things. Your enemies do so as well. They can be injured by Talos 1. They can be shot at and killed by turrets. They can even be found hiding. Most everything I said here are things you find out as you play. At the start of Prey, you may feel like you have no idea what to do or what's going on. But towards the end of the game, you have portions of the map memorized and know exactly what to do in certain situations. And to me, that's why I think it's important to replay this game at least once after beating it before you form any strong opinions. You may feel like the game is a confusing mess when you first play it, but on your second run you know how to play it and it feels like a much more fluid experience. In Prey and other games, I've enjoyed my second playthrough of it more than my first time. It's fun learning everything Talos 1 teaches you, but it's even more fun to use it proper the whole way through on a second run. I think a good way to put this is, think of the first time you play as a rough draft. You develop your skills as you are moving along and you learn. Now think of the second playthrough as an essay, testing everything you've learned and letting you use it since the beginning. I used the intricacy part of this video as an umbrella term. I want to show how vast Prey can be, and that's why this is the longest segment of the video. The reason I didn't go over things like plot or story that much is because I think Prey's gameplay should be more than enough of a justification on why you should pick it up. And if you do, I want the story to be something that you are blind to. Whether you pick it up or not, I thank you for watching.